Welcome to the pod. And start.
Okay, I think I'm gonna start. Okay, so welcome to another podcast of How You Really. I know, you're used to seeing a different person and hearing a different voice from our host Jonathan, but today you have me. My name is Catherine, and I'm here with two extra special ladies from the basketball scene, Bree Robinson and Hanna Hall. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
I'm so excited to have this conversation because guess what? You guys are the first female guests on the show. Can you believe it?
Whoa. Ooh, yes.
Let's shout out
Let's
a
keep this
woman.
rolling.
Yeah, let's shout out a woman in our lives. I'm going to shout out my sister because she's cool.
I want to shout out my mom because she does so much for me.
I have to shout out my mom too. Yeah, Mama Hall holds it down.
Nice.
Definitely holds
I
it
love
down.
that. I love that. That's beautiful. Can you tell the listeners and the watchers a little bit about yourselves?
Well, I am 19 years old, born and raised in Mississauga, but I've been playing basketball in America for 3 years now, going into my second year of Division I college basketball. And yeah, I'm a communication major, so I'm hoping to get into sports broadcasting. But yeah, I'm a big family person, so I love my siblings and my parents, and yeah, I love hanging out with my friends, and I want to see how far basketball can take me in life.
Hi everyone, I'm Hanna Hall. I'm a former national team hooper, played for the national team for a few years, went to University at Buffalo in the States for 4 years, and then found my way back in Hamilton where I was born and raised. Shout out to the HAYR. We don't get enough love, but I will always give the HAYR all the love in the world. And now I'm currently working in and around the game, just trying to stay involved as much as I can, seeing a different side of the community game and access to sport on the youth level and just loving every second of it. Yeah, that's me.
Bree, I know you touched on this just a little bit, but can you take us through the journey of like growing up in Mississauga, then doing all these sports? Because I know you did track, you did gymnastics, you did soccer.
She's a multi-sport
but
athlete.
ultimately, yeah, you ended up in basketball, and then now you're you were in Michigan, and now you're in the transfer portal. So tell me a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so I definitely got into basketball because of my family. Both my siblings played, my dad played, and I did gymnastics with my sister for 9 years. So I think that was my first sport, but I also picked up on soccer and track. So from a young age, I guess I had a little bit of everything in sports, and I think all of it helped me get to like where I am like athletically with basketball and being like strong and flexible and everything. So yeah, that carried into high school where I mainly just focused on basketball and track, and I had lots of fun. Went to state, did some good stuff there, and yeah, now I finished my first year at Michigan State. I definitely grew a lot. It was so cool getting to play with girls at the next level, and yeah, I learned a lot, and I'm ready to see where my next stop is, and just I'm ready to keep growing and keep getting better.
You're visiting schools, you're in the transfer portal. Can you take us through like the decision making behind that? And does the hype of the NCAA tournament make your decision?
Well, yeah, so I guess firstly, the decision behind this, I didn't really want to go in the portal, but unfortunately that's just kind of how things had to play out for the best for my career. And yeah, it's been a little stressful. It's scary going into the portal because like the unknown can be scary, but luckily I have a lot of people around me who are supporting me and are really, really helping me behind the scenes throughout this whole process. So I think I'm getting closer to making a decision, which helps me feel more comfortable about the future. And the hype about the NCAA tournament, I mean, I just think women's basketball is in a good place right now. There's a lot more media that's going into it, and a lot of girls are really well known. So I think being there with it, like being in the NCAA tournament this year was a dream come true, but also just such a great experience and leaves me just wanting more.
Perfect. Now Hanna, watching your video about the eating disorder and then your decision to step away from the game, I know it was difficult at that time, but what in your heart like made it easier? Like what clicked for you to make that decision?
I think honestly at the time there wasn't much that like made sense with it. It took me a while to kind of like untangle some of my why behind it. But I think when I was forced to step away from the game, first when I was struggling with my mental health, but then second during COVID, that's the first time in my life where like I actually had to think outside of basketball, where like, and I realized how quickly the game can be taken away. And I was just so focused on like on-court performance and what that could do and what was next in pro, that I never really like took a step back to ask myself why I was doing what I was doing. And when I took the time to do that, I realized like all of the different values that I had outside of sport and how I could transfer them into life essentially. And just like when I shared my story, I didn't really know why I wanted to do it, but I knew that like with the people who reached out to me after, how important it was to talk about those things, because so many people were going through the exact same things. People I knew, people who didn't know they had problems and stuff. So I think it just helped me realize that like, honestly, at the end of the day, basketball is basketball and there's so many things you can learn through it, but it's so much bigger than basketball. And I know like we hear that a lot, but that was the first time that like really stamped for me that like it is so much bigger than basketball, and like eventually the ball stops bouncing. So that's what could help me take myself further.
Nice. How does it feel playing basketball now, like after all that?
Honestly, I would say that like this past summer I played Hoop Queens. That's
Shout
probably,
out Hoop Queens.
yeah. Shout out Hoop Queens, Kisa. You already know I love you. That's the most fun I've had playing basketball since I was a kid. I think that's when I realized like basketball will always be a part of me. I'm always going to be an athlete. I'm always going to be a hooper. And that like the ball, yes, it stops bouncing, but that passion can like always exist. And I think sometimes people shy away from ending their basketball careers because they think that that can't happen. But now that I've like found my purpose in other areas of my life around the game, I can enjoy basketball the way that I want to. So, yeah.
Nice. So very two different stories and paths that like ultimately brought us here together today.
Yes.
We just wrapped up our shoot for the WNBA collection that dropped in correspondence to the second Canadian WNBA game that's going to be played in Edmonton. What does it mean for you both as basketball players to see the WNBA expand their preseason games to Canada and then potentially also bring a team here?
Yeah, I can answer first. But I mean, I think just like as a kid, when you see someone in a place that like you want to be in one day, that changes like your dreams and your goals. And so the more that we can have kids across Canada, boys and girls, like see these like incredible female hoopers like doing what they love and doing it at such a high rate, is gonna just expand and elevate the game in Canada. And like we know that Canada's a basketball country. Like we know Canada's a basketball country.
Yes.
So I think just like the more opportunities we have for like people to like see that right in front of them is really special.
Yeah, I'm going to have to second that. I know for me growing up, my dad and I would always go to the Raptors games a lot. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then it's funny because like now I don't watch any NBA. Like I just watch women's basketball. So I feel like now, like you said, with younger kids growing up, being able to watch women play like in your home country, it's going to be really life-changing for the next generation that's coming. And yeah, it's amazing to see your idols play like right in front of you instead of having to travel to a different country to go watch it. So, and yeah, I think seeing people where you want to be is so incredible, and I want to be in the WNBA one day. So yeah, it's making really big steps for Canada in basketball.
What would you guys, putting you on the spot, name the team? I thought about it. I don't know why, but like Toronto Stars came into my head. I know that's the newspaper, but
I kind of like that though.
yeah, something like, or like
I
think
know.
someone said like Six Angels or something like that.
That's
Reminds me of,
cool.
like a biker thing.
Actually, yeah, it's giving a little
like
bit.
the Toronto Star. I feel like it'd have to be something that's like twisted for Toronto.
Yeah.
Like, have that,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Still question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Toronto Star is good though.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take it. The players and the fans obviously are very excited about the expansion. What is it about this sport specifically that makes you both love it so much?
I think for me, it's I tried to say this before. I don't know if I worded it correctly, but like the feeling I get when I play, just like in a game, I feel so like empowered, I guess, and the teammates that I've met along my journey so far have really shaped me into who I am, and just the sport in general. So I just think like kind of the emotional benefit, I guess, and also like as a career, it's really helped me be where I am today. So yeah, I just have so much passion and love for the game that no matter where I'm playing, like I can still find joy in it.
Yeah, for me, I think just like echoing what you said, it's really hard to like describe the feeling. I played a couple sports growing up too, and like ultimately had to choose between soccer and basketball, and just the feeling I had on the court was something different. But I think the reason I love basketball so much is like the diversity of the game and the people who are a part of it. I grew as a person because of the people I was surrounded with in the game, and that doesn't exist in all sports, so I'm really conscious of that. And just, yeah, the people I've met along the way has been really, really special. So just, basketball's diversity is different. It brings people from all walks of life, from all countries, into this like one game. So it's really special.
What has been your most memorable game? I want to know one that you played in and one that you maybe attended or watched.
Dang. Attended and watched is easily the WNBA game last year.
Yes.
That was crazy. Seeing Bridget, I'm biased, but seeing Bridget, like hometown hero, just a kid from Chatham, like now talking in front of a sold out arena about what it's like to like bring the WNBA to Canada is unbelievable. Played in, yikes. I would say my second year when we played UConn who did we play? Rutgers at UConn in the first round. That was like one of my favorites. Then we played UConn at UConn. That was crazy, and they packed the house, and now I understand why UConn is how they are. But that was an incredible experience. That was where our tournament run ended, but it was still just like, I think just such a special experience to play in front of that crowd. That was the first time I really felt like the power of women's basketball, because it's like everybody loved the men's team there, but the women's team was what like changed basketball at UConn, so that was really special.
Yeah. I think for me, my favorite game that I watched would have to be my first WNBA game. I remember we were in Chicago playing with Team Ontario, and we went to go watch a Chicago Sky game, and I remember like my eyes being like so wide open. And
I actually think I went to that too.
Really?
Yes, I was with Team Ontario. We went to Chicago Sky, but I feel it was a different year maybe.
I was in grade 8, so it could be possible. I think.
Maybe it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at this.
But that was my first time seeing a professional women's game, and it was just so amazing. And I think it was so cool to experience it like with my provincial team, because a bunch of us, I'm sure, want to play there. And then one of my favorite games that I played in, I feel like it might have to be, it was one of our first round games in the U17 FIBA World Cup. We played against Spain. It was such a close game, and I just remember like being in that moment. It was just a battle right to the end. Or I don't know, it'd have to be one of my high school games from last year in the championship game. It's just feels so good to go to battle with people you love around you. So yeah, I would have to say one of those two games.
That's cool. Although I'm not a player, I feel like why I love the game is like the thrill of it. Like every minute, everything that you do can change the trajectory of the game. Everything that comes with being a fan, I feel like it stimulates my mental health. Like whether we're winning, whether we're not winning. How has being an athlete or playing basketball changed your mental health or impacted your mental health?
Yeah. Well, I know for me, starting in sports at a young age has, I guess, made me mentally tougher, I guess some could say. I feel like starting in gymnastics, that takes a big toll on your mind and body. And so kind of having that foundation and then living in sports, it's kind of made me self-aware. And I think this year I've faced a new challenge I haven't really faced before. So that kind of made me step back instead of always thinking I'm a student athlete, like just kind of seeing myself as like, okay, I'm a human. Like I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, taking that step back, because I do think my mental health was kind of shaken a bit this year. So yeah, it's helped me be more grounded in who I am outside of the sport. And I was telling Hanna about it, but last year as one of my final projects in high school, I did a presentation about mental health in sports, and I featured Hanna in it. So it's so surreal to be with her right now. So just looking at different statistics about mental health in sports and how much athletes really do get affected by it, it is alarming. And I know that nowadays we are doing a lot to try and help that, and I know Hanna is doing a lot for that. So it's good to know that there's being steps towards bettering mental health. But yeah, it's something that everyone's working on, and it's good to know that no one's alone in this process.
Yeah, that was beautiful, and shout out for doing your project. Yes. I wish I knew. Yeah, I think for me, like, what I've kind of realized, it actually is just like recently coming to, and this is like 4 years post colleges, it's highs and lows. Like, sport, since I was a kid, like what you mentioned, has like brought so many positives in my life. And like, now that I'm out of it, I realize like the benefits of being on a team for my mental health, the benefits of feeling like I belong in a space for my mental health, and just moving every day. And I think we take that for granted as athletes because it's something we get to do every day. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm out of it, I realize like how important that actually is, and like how beneficial that actually is. And yeah, just emphasizing, like, I think a lot of us like tie our self-worth to like how we perform as athletes. And so one of the biggest things I'm like trying to do and continue to work on every day, and just help other athletes try to understand, is like nurturing that self-worth as bigger than basketball or bigger than whatever sport you play. Because I think eventually when the ball stops bouncing, like, you gain a lot of confidence playing, but confidence and self-worth aren't always the same thing. And I think sometimes we lose our identities in sport because our self-worth is so tied to that. So I think that's just like a big impact on our mental health, and can really help us as athletes. But yeah, it's just continuing the conversation, continuing to like normalize it the way you have. Like, it's not a crisis, it's just normal, and we have to keep talking about it. But I think those are like the benefits of it in sport right now.
What keep you guys motivated during those mental blocks?
Basketball. Like, I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to, like you said it, like ground yourself, and that's all we know as athletes. So I think just like, I don't know who or what I would have been or how I would have healed and recovered if I didn't have a game to get back to. That wasn't my be all and end all, but that 100% was my biggest motivation. So sport was kind of saved me in that way. But yeah.
I would have to say, I guess, my goals, like knowing where I'm trying to go in life and like what I'm trying to get out of what I'm doing right now. Just seeing that bigger picture aspect really helped me, and then trying to fall in love with the process, not only being attached to the results, but all the work it takes to get there.
And what are some other ways you guys help clear up your mental besides basketball?
Yeah. I started doing this during COVID, but I meditate every morning, which has become like a very consistent part of my life, and I started journaling mornings and nights. So I think that has actually helped me in more ways than I can recognize, because I know sometimes if I take a break, like a 2-week break without doing that, I'm like, whoa, my life is like, feels a lot, like there's a lot going on. So yeah, I think doing that consistently has really helped me outside of basketball.
Yeah, me too. Journaling is definitely something that like, I mean, like I went to therapy and I did all of that, like the processes and stuff. And I think like journaling always was just like something that brought me home. That's huge. And then also just really like being aware every day and like checking in with myself every day. I know like checking in has become this like, oh, check in with yourself, like that type of thing. But like seriously checking in with yourself every day is like life changing. Like, how are you really doing? And it's fine if it's not okay. It's fine if it's great. But like taking that moment to like check in with yourself, that's been something that's been like really life changing for me.
Who has given you guys like the best advice, and what piece of advice was that?
Oh, I feel like this is seasonal because it depends on like where I'm at. Yeah. Recently, for my mental health, I would say like in general, just this is a tough one.
You guys probably get advice all the time.
Yeah.
Your coaches, your family.
Yeah, and I think just like your best looks different every day is a big one that I've really like held on to in the past couple years, especially like transitioning out of sport, kind of like get back into my like perfectionist mindset ways. And like as high performers, that's kind of naturally how we approach life. And just like recognizing that needs to look at different every day for it to be sustainable. So that's probably mine.
I think growing up and even now, my parents are always giving me like these phrases and everything. But I think the one that I've never forgotten is from one of my AAU coaches, Coach Sean. You know, AAU, you're playing like 3 games a day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like, it's a lot. So he said, like, play with your soul. And like, some people play with their heart. It's hard to play with your mind because you can be tired. If your heart's broken, you might be upset. But if you play with your soul, like, that is, you're so grounded in that you can't shake or like not show up that day. I don't know, but him saying that to me really just channeled a different kind of mentality that came with that like, okay, like, it's in me and I'm gonna do it because like I know I can do it. And yeah, I think that's helped me stay aggressive throughout my career.
Nice. Do you guys have pre-game rituals before games or any big events that you do, Hannah?
I would say, like I said, meditate, journal, and then I always shower before a game. And then when I'm getting ready, doing my hair, I have to play music that I can like dance to because just to like get me loose. I realize that if I'm serious, it's probably not gonna be a good game. If I'm like dancing and I'm like more present, then I'm like, okay, like I know I can go off this game. So yeah.
Yeah, that's similar to me. I think like for a while I was like super focused on like, okay, this has to be like the perfect like serious playlist, like pump up Drake, all this music. And then I like started popping off to like Miley Cyrus before the games and like just dancing and having fun. And I think like that's how you find your like flow in basketball and just like enjoy it. So I kind of had that like mindset switch. And now honestly, I approach like life to that too. Like if I have something like big coming up, I'm like just dancing, having fun before, because at the end of the day, like we've already put the work in for those moments. And I think like athletes get caught up in like how much work that they've put in and like kind of not sure if it's gonna like transfer over. And so like just being able to like let loose allows you to just like trust the process and trust the work you've already put in. So yeah, definitely loosen up.
Okay, I love that because I like to dance too. So let's put in those rituals because we're about to play a little game.
Okay.
Shake it out a little bit.
What do we got?
I'm gonna ask you guys some rapid fire questions. Just the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you these.
This could be dangerous.
Just a little bit, but we're gonna have fun with this. So the first one is, what is something you need to have in your gym bag?
Headphones. Always.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say body spray because I love smelling good.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Your go-to song to get pumped up.
Well, now this has changed because it was Trophies by Drake, and now I'm like literally popping off to Miley Cyrus. Like
Trophies
old
is a
Miley
good
Cyrus.
one.
Trophies is like an anthem.
Yes.
Definitely an anthem.
Man, I have a big pregame playlist, but I would just say "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
Okay,
Ooh,
girl.
okay.
Wait, you literally are shaking it off. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Favorite artist?
Oh, that's also changed.
Seasons.
I love Jay-Z, but I love like
Ooh.
old Jay-Z.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna have to go very basic Canadian. Just go with Drake.
Yep, we love Drake here.
Fair.
Your go-to meal post-game?
Pizza.
Ooh.
Pizza.
What do you
That's
like
a
on
go-to.
pizza? Pineapple or no pineapple?
I love pineapple on my pizza, but like my favorite is just like a good margarita pizza.
Yes.
Margarita pizza's fire, girl, guys.
I think I might go with like some sort of noodle dish, like either a pad thai or even like a pasta fettuccine alfredo.
Love that too. Offense or defense?
This is hard. I love offense because I love the feeling of hitting a three, but defense is what like gives me my energy to hit the three. Like I have to get like a steal, and then it's different. But
yeah, I feel like growing up, defense was my thing. So even though now I'm kind of evolved into a more offensive player, I'm still gonna have to go with defense.
3-pointer or a layup?
I didn't enter the key very often as a player. 3-pointer was my safe zone, so I just stayed out of the trees.
I'm gonna have to go with 3-pointer just because I have more celebrations after I make one.
Nice, nice. AM practice or PM practice?
I'm an early riser. I like to be like asleep.
Yep.
Me too. AM for sure.
MVP award or championship?
Championship.
Championship.
For sure.
Call a friend or text a friend?
If I'm calling you, you're a friend. So definitely call a friend.
Yeah, I would say call.
Mental health walk or productive nap?
Ooh, I'm a walker. All my good ideas come when I'm walking. So I'm like, that's definitely, I do love a good nap, but like mental health wise, walking is just like, gets me where I need to be.
I think I'd have to go with walk just because I don't take naps often, and if I do try, I end up falling asleep.
Yeah.
So
I love my naps.
Or sleeping till the
personally.
next day. I'm like, this isn't a nap anymore.
Yes. Okay, now for this next one, I saw it on Players Tribune, so don't get mad at the girls, but we're gonna play a little start, bench, or cut with some familiar faces. Now this is just for fun, so we're gonna do start, bench, or cut, Natalie Chowan, Kia Nurse, or Bridget Carlton. For fun.
Start Kia, start Bridget, start Natalie.
Love that.
yeah, I do kind of feel bad. I know those are her like besties. I've met Kia and Bridget. I've never met Natalie, so I feel like
Safe
I'm so sorry. I love all you guys. You guys are so amazing.
Perfect.
But I think just because I think I liked her because, we kind of look alike. I'd have to start Kia, bench Bridget, and then cut Natalie. I'm so sorry.
For fun. Okay, for fun. Okay, and lastly, we like to do this on every podcast. We play word association. So I'm going to give you a word, and you tell me a feeling or something that comes to mind when I say this word. So the first word is peace.
Meditate.
Basketball.
Ooh, okay. The next word is love.
Family.
Family.
Cute. Okay, and the final word, basketball.
I just thought of fire.
Ooh.
Freedom.
Okay, so cute. I want to say thank you to you guys for coming out for this episode. Anything you want to plug?
Shout out Peace Collective.
Facts.
Y'all are different. I mean, there's a ton of people doing work around basketball, but this is different. So shout out Peace Collective.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.